Welcome back everyone to ASG Vids. In this run we are going to have a random starter featured through a randomized version of Fire Red for our solo run. So we start off in the professor's office to check out with our starters. I was between Mawile and Whiscash because Muck is just too tanky. I went with Whiscash because I thought it would give decent challenge throughout with a quad weakness to grass. We start off facing Grimer against our rival and accidentally use Tickle, but switch to the super effective Mud Slap to win this battle. After a little grinding in trainers, we get up to another battle with our old rival of No Views. He sends out a Stantler with a couple of water guns and mud slaps. We take it out. Then it's Grimer again with easy mud slaps to the face to win again. After that we get to the first gym to take on Brock. He starts with an Execute that annoyingly puts me to sleep as I try to magnitude it, but wakes me up stupidly with Uproar and I get a magnitude 10 to take it down. Good thing it didn't have a grass move. Next is Alakazam, which hits me with a couple of confusions, but I easily take it down as well with 2 magnitudes. Maybe Whiscash is better than I thought. Next up is Misty, who begins with a Diglett, an easy one with our water gun. Next is Dusclops, who can't do much to me with its attacks, and I get a crit water gun for our second bat. We then have a third rival fight already, and he starts with an easy kill Rhyhorn. Then a Ponyta, which can't handle a water pulse, and we level up to learn Rest. I learn it over Tickle because any healing can help me later on. I also grab Snore over Mud Slap for now, but that won't be in there too long. Third up is Omastar, which only takes me 2 water pulses. I have no idea if I'm saying that name right, but let's just go with it. And of course Grimer, which can't handle any of my ground moves. Pretty easy wins so far. The next major battle is once again another rival battle on the ship. At least it stays interesting in the randomizer because only his starter follows him through the game. He begins with Cloyster, and I now have Earthquake, which just rocks it to knock it out. Next is Swallow, and I found the TM for Blizzard, since they're also random on the field, so that destroys that as well. I Water Pulse Cascoon, since it can't hit me anyways, and then easy Grimer again gets Earthquaked. We have pretty decent move coverage already. We now arrive at the third gym to start off facing a Bulbasaur. I hit it with a Blizzard to immediately get that grass type off the field. Then a Mareep, and I for some reason use Water Pulse, but it still works out for a one-shot. And finally Larvitar, and with another Water Pulse we take it out for our third badge. So far we haven't been challenged too much, but I'm sure towards the end, one Whiscash is not going to be easy to just destroy everything. Our next major battle is after Rock Tunnel, when we take on the rival in the Pokemon Tower. He starts the battle off with Aggron, which Water Pulse annihilates. Then he goes with Spheal, which I just use Water Pulse twice and easily take a Body Slam from. Third is Duskull, which is just 1 Water Pulse again. Fourth is Cyndaquil, which is obviously a Water Pulse to take out, and finally Muck, which is always just an Earthquake knockout. I may be a little over-leveled at this point, but there are so many battles only having 1 Pokemon, it levels up really fast. I even found an experience share I was using to half my experience. Next is the 4th gym, and I accidentally had a Totodile in front, which I was switch training just to even lower my experience more, but I switch it right out. I missed my Earthquake after taking a Sand Attack, and then another one. After that I'm able to connect on a Water Pulse to knock out Sandslash. Next is Torkoal, and even though I missed my first attack, and it curses, I am able to one-hit it with a Water Pulse. Finally Starmie gets Earthquake to the ground for our 4th badge. I then go work on the Rocket Hideout and take on Giovanni for the first time. He starts out with a Bagon that I Water Pulse into Oblivion, and then Swinub gets the same treatment. And lastly Pichu can't tank an Earthquake for an easy W. We then head over to Silphco, and our next battle is just the rival again, that's just kicking it in here for some reason. He begins with Togetic that blasts me a Follow Me, only for me to weakly hit a Water Pulse, stupidly try to use Earthquake on a flying type, and then finally take it down with a Blizzard. A second Togetic gets a one-shot Blizzard since I now know that that's my best move on it, and then a Zangoose is next. It can't handle an Earthquake, so that's an easy out. And the final 2 are Remoraid and Muck, both of which can't take an Earthquake either, so the battle is over. Right after that I have to take on Giovanni again. This time he has a Latias that I immediately miss a Blizzard on and get hit by a weak Mist Ball. I then hit Blizzard for about half health. It Water Sports for all my fire moves, of course, and I hit a very weak Water Pulse. It Dragon Breaths for a little damage, but ultimately succumbs to another Blizzard. Second is Grumpig, that's a one-shot with Earthquake. The same for Corsola, and finally Magmar, that with Sunny Day tanks 2 water pulses, but ultimately hits itself in confusion to knock itself out. Still pretty easy. I ride my bike to Koga next for the 5th gym, and he begins the battle with an Aggron. We now have Surf, so we all know at this point that fish can handle this easily. Next is Crawdaunt, so I Earthquake here, and then Omastar has the same fate. His last Pokemon is Grumpig, so we easily get our 5th badge basically untouched. This middle game has been a little too easy with no strong grass types to take out. I go straight to the 6th gym since I'm already overleveled and Sabrina fittingly has a Hypno to start off. I fittingly destroy it with an Earthquake, though, so that's short-lived. Camerupt, Scizor, and Hitmonchan all get the same move put on them, and since I outsped them all, I don't even get hit by a single move in this gym battle. I'm on a little roll here, so right away I surf on down to Blaine. I get the key for the gym, and take him on. I surf on his Spinda for the first one-shot, and then he whips out a Suicune that I try surf on as well for one reason or another. He uses Bubble Beam, so no harm done, and I Earthquake it down for about 1 health. It then uses Rain Dance? I don't really understand these strategies, but I use Water Pulse to finish it up. But he Hyper Potions right before I get the chance. Another Earthquake to whittle it down and take another Bubble Beam, but it Hyper Potions again, so I have to hit 2 Earthquakes in a row to finally take it down. Tentacruel is a one-shot worth Earthquake, and Walrein takes big damage from 1 Earthquake, but it's able to hit back with an Aurora Beam for some chip damage. I take it out with a Surf. At least that battle was a little more interesting than the last 2. Our final gym is once again taking on Giovanni. He begins with Snorlax, and I immediately try an Earthquake. It hits back with Body Slam for a little damage, but I'm able to take it out with a Surf. Second is Noctowl, which takes 2 Surfs and a Water Pulse, since he wisely healed up this Pokemon in between. I'm lucky it missed that Hypnosis, though. Next is Dragonite, which is the exact reason I have Blizzard, that and a grass counter, but it takes it right off a field. Fourth is Stantler, with Intimidate to knock down my attack, so I go with Surf, and it almost one-hits, but it's able to survive and Confuse Ray me first. He then heals, and I of course hit myself. I then luckily snap out and hit a strong Earthquake, but it Sand attacks to lower my accuracy. So I miss my Surf and it hits with Takedown, that crits for decent damage, but the recoil takes Stantler out. That shouldn't have been that difficult, and finally he has a Delibird that can't take even 1 Surf to give us our final badge. We move on to the final rival battle before the Elite Four. No Views begins with a Tyranitar, a Pokemon I could easily do this run with, but in this situation can't handle a Surf from my fish. Next is Arbok that is taken out with a super effective Earthquake. Then there's Wigglytuff that tanks an Earthquake, probably with the help of Arbok's Intimidate, and lands a Sing on me. I sleep for 2 turns while it does some nonsense over there, and then wake up to take it out with Surf. Fourth is Mischievous, which 1 Surf handles. And 5th is Houndoom, which Surf handles easily. Finally we have Muck, the starter, and since I got hit with Intimidate, 1 Earthquake doesn't do it this time, and I miss another due to Minimize, so I take a Sludge Bomb before finishing it with a final Earthquake. We're finally to the Elite Four, and this was not the easiest of tasks for me. First up is Lorelei. She begins with Delibird and wastes a full restore on it, and I just finish it with 3 Water Pulses. Second up is Victory Bell, which is scary with our quad weakness, but I outspeed and get a lucky crit Ice Beam to take it down. Next is Ludicolo. It tanks an Ice Cream like a champ and takes an Earthquake pretty good. Puts a little damage on me with Absorb and Nature Power, but 2 Ice Beams are able to finish it off. Milotic is next, and Ice Beam does nothing. It sets up a Rain Dance, so I decide to use that to attack with a powered up Surf. It still doesn't do much, so I switch to Earthquake, which is able to do the job. Finally, we have Quagsire. It yawns me and full restores, so it's stalling me, but 2 Surfs and a Water Pulse when I wake up win me the battle. Next is Bruno, and he starts the battle off with Venomoth. I get a critical Surf to immediately knock it out. Second is Beautifly, which takes 2 Surfs after a scary big damage Giga Drain. Who would think this thing would have the biggest hit on me so far? Third is Yanma, which is just 1 Surf, and fourth is Tentacruel, who can't handle an Earthquake. Finally we have Swampert, who probably would have tanked my Earthquake, but we got a critical hit on it, so it was a one-shot to win our second Elite Four matchup. Third is Agatha. She tosses out Narmaldo, and after a little screwing around, 1 Surf is all it needs. She then goes to Aggron for the exact same fate. then a Milotic, which we already faced, so we know that to use Earthquake and get a lucky crit for a third straight one-shot. Celebi is fourth, which is extremely scary, but it stupidly uses Future Sight twice, so it must not have a grass move, because that probably would have taken me down. Tyranitar is next, and a Surf nearly one-shot, but it survived to Scary Face, and then full restored. So I did 2 Water Pulses with a Crunch hitting me in between, but we won that battle. We finally get to Lance, and let me just preface this by saying I saved you the headache of watching me lose this battle a minimum of 20 times. I had to get extremely lucky with Gyarados not destroying me with Hyper Beam or connecting on every Hydro Pump. You see the others are basically one-shots with the right moves, but this Gyarados, I had to get this run where it keeps Dragon Dancing and Rain Dancing to whittle it down, and on top of that, use Toxic just to finally beat this thing. That was a crazy battle. It doesn't look like it here, but this was the roughest battle of the run. I'm just glad it's over. We arrive at our rival for the final time as the champion. He begins weirdly with Quagsire, then Golem, then Quagsire again. It took 7 Surfs for all 3 of them, but I just found it strange the randomizer gave him 2 Quagsires. Whatever, I did take a bit of damage from the 3 Earthquakes though. Fourth was Machamp, who was a lucky crit one-shot with Earthquake myself. Granbull was next, and it took an Earthquake and a 1 Surf to take it out, while bringing me down to red health. Finally, it was his Muck. 2 super effective Earthquakes finished it, while his Sludge Bomb took me all the way down to 16 health. But we are now in the Hall of Fame. I hope you guys enjoyed this run. It wasn't the most difficult, but it was still interesting to me. I like using the randomizer because it changes the game a little bit. Let me know if you guys like this kind of thing, or if you'd like to see a more challenging run. There were some challenges. I'm lucky I never ran into any kind of grass Pokemon that could just destroy me. Really, through the whole run, there was no strong grass Pokemon through the whole thing. It's kind of strange. But I really had fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know if you'd like to see anything else, and please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.